"Emily, those eggs were simply delicious." Emily Arthur offered her neighbor a rare but brilliant smile. "I'm so glad you liked them, Rose," she replied. "Would you like a few more?" Rose surveyed her neighbor carefully. She had never seen Emily looking so bright, so fresh. She had expected the woman to be worried sick over her missing husband, but if anything, Emily seemed lighter somehow, a bit more relaxed. Of course, Rose mused, it wasn't really that much of a shock that Emily would react that way. She had known the Arthurs for years, had her suspicions that Ted Arthur beat the poor woman. Though she had never witnessed anything, she had seen Emily's bruises and had watched the lady slowly fade until she was nothing but a walking husk. So it was really no surprise that Emily wasn't too broken up about her husband's disappearance. Local gossip was, of course, that Emily had killed Ted Arthur and disposed of his body. Rose, however, knew that there was no way that her neighbor had murdered the man. Even if there was a very slim chance that Emily had somehow managed to do it, there was no way that she could have gotten rid of the body. After all, Emily was just a slight little thing who just simply wouldn't be able to lift, drag, or move a body, especially one of Ted's size. No, the story that was released by the local police department was far more believable. In Rose's book, which stated that Emily had last seen Ted driving away from the Arthur household in a state of total inebriation. The police had already decided that Ted, being drunk, had missed one of the many sharp turns of the winding back roads and was lying dead somewhere in the wreckage. Knowing Ted's affinity for alcohol, Rose really didn't doubt the story. Assured of her neighbor's innocence, Rose smiled warmly at Emily. "That would be lovely." Emily beamed. "Let me get you some fresh ones from the coop. It won't take a moment." With that, she bounced off with a spring in her step, leaving her neighbor standing by the front door. The chicken coop was located around the back of the house. Out of eyeshot from the neighbors, humming a bright little tune, Emily rounded the house and went over to the egg box. She undid the latches, opened the door, and extracted 7 eggs, which she placed in the basket she was carrying. Before she closed the door, she peered inside, her eyes meeting the empty sockets of her husband's fleshless skull. Well, she mused to herself, the chickens were doing quite a good job. Soon, he would be picked completely clean, and then she could bury the bones beneath the coop. With a fresh grin on her face, Emily closed up the coop, then hurried back to where Rose was waiting. After all, she didn't want her neighbor to get suspicious.